are listening to Erik Waddell Pause. We pause for a second or two. This is episode 28. Bodies, smartphones, brain chips. When I am out and about, walking downtown, I meet a lot of people, and we react to one another. We pass each other on the street. We might interact over something. And as we go about our days, we are bodies passing each other. We are bodies living in the same space, in the same city. This sort of interaction is the same as it has always been. We are a group animal. We live together. Our bodies sort of react to one another. I move, you move. You move, I move. So this kind of bodily interaction has always been the same for as long as we have existed. And if I go about my day without anything on me, just me, then the human interaction I get, the responsiveness between me and other people, is all due to just me, just my body. There is no outside influence, it's just me. Since, when was it? In Sweden it was about 2009, I think. So 15 years ago now, that the smartphones started arriving. And in a matter of maybe 1 or 2 years, it became an increasingly common sight to see people walk around with the smartphone in their hand all the time, constantly holding this device. So this sort of meeting between bodies that I described was added sort of like a second layer, that if you and I meet each other on the street, now you also hold a smartphone in your hand, and maybe even I hold a smartphone in my hand. So we are meeting each other, but we are not alone. We have this social interaction over the smartphone at the same time. So there are other people, other bodies affecting our bodies in the physical meeting. It's not just you and me anymore. The world is watching our meeting. Or so the feeling is. The feeling can be that everybody is watching our meeting if we are holding smartphones in our hands as we meet. So, what it means to meet a person in these days, if I take Sweden again as an example, my home country. If you are in the city in Sweden, almost every young person is either holding the smartphone in their hand or having it just in their pocket, ready to pick up. So if you're meeting with people in town or just passing people, the meeting is not the same as it was before 2009. It's not the same. I am making this episode as this sort of reaction to and commentary on that a new technology has been achieved. And what I'm referring to is the brain chips that has been developed by different manufacturers. So with this brain chip, in reality, in practice, it is like having the smartphone implanted inside your brain. So this brain chip is being talked about and marketed as being a device giving the person possibilities to maneuver and communicate in ways that wasn't possible before. And there is another side to this technology, and it is against the background I just stated, that if we have the smartphone implanted into our brains, into our bodies, then not only when we meet each other physically, body to body, then not only are we not alone in our meeting, but the whole world or other bodies through this technology is also inside our bodies as we meet. And at this stage, this technology is merely being presented to people who are paralyzed or have motor function disabilities, so that they may be granted the opportunity to communicate more freely. But the discussion is now open, what we want to do with this new technology. And if there would be a market for this new technology, if people would be willing to implant these brain chips into themselves, then we are looking at a new reality of social function. And also, this topic is being perceived differently, somewhat, by different generations. Those of us, like myself included, who grew up without smartphones, without internet, we know how it feels to meet with each other, body to body, without this presence of outside bodies or this presence of the smartphones. We know how that feels. We have experience, we have memories, how that feels and how life is without smartphones. And now we have later generations who have grown up with smartphones, and they do not know of any other reality. The smartphones is natural to them. So the social meeting between bodies, the baseline experience for them is that the smartphones always have been there. One point I want to make here is that for those of us who grew up without smartphones, who know how it feels to live without smartphones, we will react to this new technology of brain chips in one way. We have a different experience of it, what it means to meet body to body, than the newer generations have. So I imagine that for us, the leap from no smartphones to smartphones could be as great as for the newer generations, the leap from smartphones to brain chips. I'm not saying that there has been any public opinion polls being made on this topic, but I imagine that the newer generations will feel differently about brain chips than us earlier generations will do. When I am speaking on this topic, which I have called bodies, smartphones, brain chips, I am trying to do it in a disinterested way. Because our bodies is the most personal thing we have. And the experiences we might have may differ a lot. This topic also touches upon questions of togetherness or solitude, community or solitude. We are different. Some of us want a lot of solitude, a lot of me time, and some of us wish not to be alone ever. And in some absolute sense, I guess there is no right and wrong here. Some people want to be together all the time, and some people want to be alone some of the time. And smartphones and brain chips challenges us how we feel about these matters. After all, life is about an experience. Life is experienced. And I believe that the main part of the lived experience is experienced in our meeting and how we talk with one another, how we communicate, how we react to each other, who we spend time with. This is the lived experience. And since the entrance of smartphones onto the social arena, the lived experience has changed. It simply does not feel the same to meet with each other now as it did before smartphones. And if brain chips would be a widespread thing, then once again the lived experience, how it feels to meet with one another, would change again. And not only that, with the brain chips, it would change what it means to be alone. In practice, we would not be alone anymore. A smartphone you can always drop, or you can leave it at home, or it can break, or you can put it away for a while. You can turn it off. But a brain chip, it would always be there. And it would always be inside of us. Again, I'm trying to speak about this subject in a disinterested way. It is very difficult because I feel it's a very emotional subject. What it means to be a person. What it means to meet with one another. What it means to be alone. And if I am to close this discussion with a personal wish, something I wish for when it comes to this, is that when it comes to these brain chips, I wish for the application of this new technology to pace itself, to take time. Because implanting the internet into our own bodies, into our own brains, would be maybe one of the greatest social steps ever made. And such a great step would have great emotional implications. So I would wish for this new technology to take time before it reaches an open market. I think that this is a subject that could be talked about in length. I think that's it. Thank you.